Greetings, yoga friends, and welcome to this Be Where You Are yoga flow. In this practice, we'll be getting in touch with what it feels like to be inside our bodies and releasing judgment around choosing different variations of a pose. I'll be using 2 blocks and a blanket today, and you can use props or none at all as your body instructs. So now take just a moment to gather what you need, and I'll see you on the mat. So we're going to start out today in child's pose. So if you like, you can use your blanket here to pad your knees. And you can keep your knees close together or widen them out, whatever feels best for you. And we'll just shift the hips back towards the heels here. And just remember, sometimes your hips may not want to go all the way back to the heels, and that's fine too. If you find your hips are slightly elevated here, just go with that. So we'll just take this time to arrive in our bodies and arrive on our mats. Most of us have spent the day working or doing things. So this is our opportunity to switch to just being. Begin to lengthen your breath. Maybe begin to notice what it feels like to be inside your fingers or inside your toes. Notice what parts of your body find this position delicious. And maybe what other parts of your body are asking for some attention today. And just continue smoothing out your breath, coming into your body, coming into this time on your mat. And then we'll bring this awareness with us as we rise up from our child's pose and come into tabletop. So bringing your knees right under your hips, your wrists right under your shoulders. And very gently here for just a moment, I want you to drop your heart through your shoulders so that your shoulders rise up above your back. And we do this so that when we press away from the mat, we understand what that means. So now actively press away from the mat and bring your heart space back up between your shoulders. Now we'll keep this engagement in the shoulders. And as we're inhaling, we'll roll the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then as we're exhaling, roll the tailbone under. And feel how the spine naturally follows as you inhale, rolling that tailbone up. We don't have to do anything special to tell our head to come up. As soon as we rotate that tailbone up, the head comes up. And rotating the tailbone under, the head comes under. Just continue moving through this cat-cow with your own breath 2 or 3 times. And then we'll all meet in a neutral spine and tabletop, taking the gaze just slightly in front of the hands And then walking the hands a couple of handprints forward, we'll turn the toes under and shift the hips up, keeping the knees nice and bent here. And again, feeling that engagement pressing out of the shoulders and moving the weight of the body back towards the heels, even here with our knees nice and bent. And take a nice deep breath. And then as you're exhaling, just begin lowering one heel. Inhaling back to the toes, exhaling, lowering the other heel. Nice and slow and mindful here. Just tuning in again to where you are today, where your body is, what this feels like as you gently lower each heel. And a couple more breaths here. And then we'll inhale up to both toes and exhale, just gently relaxing the heels towards the mat here, maybe straightening the knees slightly, but keeping that nice straight back. And then bending the knees deeply, we'll take the gaze forward and walk the feet up to the hands at the top of the mat. And here you might bring your blocks to the sides of your feet, placing your hands on the blocks here and just allowing the blocks to support you. And again, you don't need to have blocks here. You can bend your knees deeply, bringing your fingertips to the floor. And just take a moment here, maybe coming into ragdoll, holding each elbow, maybe just allowing your hands to relax on the blocks, or finding some other movement here that appeals to you. Relaxing the crown of the head down to the floor. Relaxing the shoulders. And then bringing the fingertips back to the floor, the hands to the blocks. We'll bend both knees deeply and inhale up to stand with a flat back. Bring the hands to heart center. And just notice here for a moment what it feels like to come up to stand. Maybe tune into your foundation, feeling into all four corners of the feet. And then from here, we'll come into a sun salutation variation. So this sun salutation is going to include some lunges and also a modified pyramid. So to begin, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. You can bring the hands to meet overhead, interlacing the fingers and pointing the pointer fingers up top. We'll sandwich the ears in between the biceps, and as we're exhaling, come into just a little back bend. Inhaling, we'll trace those fingers back up overhead. And then exhale, coming into a forward fold, bringing the hands down to the blocks or to the floor. Inhaling to come up halfway. Nice, straight, flat back here. Exhale, coming back into the fold. We're going to take a nice big step back with the left leg. And here you can come down to the knee if you like, or stay up in a high lunge. Exhaling, opening the heart forward. And then we'll all drop the back knee to the mat. And as we're taking our next exhale, you can bring the blocks back with you if you have them, flexing the toes up towards the face. If you are on the fingertips here, maybe bending into the knee to keep the back nice and straight. Inhaling, we'll come forward, rolling back up on the toe, moving the blocks out of the way here, planting both hands, coming back to a plank or perhaps a half plank. And then hugging the elbows into the sides, coming down to the floor for chaturanga. Inhaling up, baby cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale to press back up to plank or half plank. And rolling the toes under, exhaling, coming back, downward facing dog. Bending both knees, shifting the gaze forward, and walking back to the top of the mat. And then from here, inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to meet overhead. Once again, interlacing the fingers. Exhaling, tracing that line with the fingers, little back bend. Inhale, back upright. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale to fold. Stepping back with the right leg this time, maybe dropping that back knee. And exhaling as we look forward. Staying on that back knee. We'll shift the hips back as we bring those blocks with us, flexing the left toe back up towards the face. Inhaling to roll forward. Now we'll come up on the toes, moving the blocks out of the way, stepping back to plank or half plank, and coming through your chaturanga. Inhaling up, baby cobra, using those back muscles, not the hands. Exhale to release. Inhale up through half plank or full plank. And exhale back to downward dog. Bending the knees deeply, shifting the gaze forward. Walking the feet back up to the top of the mat. Inhale up halfway here. If you like, bring those blocks back in. Exhale all the way into your fold, bending the knees if you need to. And then inhaling up to stand with a flat back. Hands come down to heart center. And just take some time here to close your eyes and notice. And then rolling the shoulders back onto the back. We'll come back to our foundation, grounding into all four corners of the feet, pulling up through the pelvic floor, engaging that mula bandha, engaging the belly muscles, and just notice. And now inhale the head up. And you can stay at the top of your mat here. I'm going to come into a little balanced pose. I'll turn toward you so you can see, and I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. So to start off here from our Tadasana, we'll just bring our weight into the left foot, softening into that left knee slightly. And we're just going to bring that right heel up to the glute, reaching back, coming into a thigh stretch on this side. And you can extend that left arm up overhead if you like, pulling in through the belly button for stability, rooting down through that right hip, trying to bring the knees to parallel, and remembering that it's always okay to stop and use a wall here. Maybe that's where you are today. And that's the joy of a home practice. Nobody can see what you're doing. So go find your wall if you need that. And now we'll let that leg gently come down, taking this stretch into the other side now. Bringing the left leg up behind, inhaling the arm up overhead, finding your wall or maybe your chair, finding your focal point. And then when you're ready, allowing that to release, maybe shaking the water off your legs a little here. We're going to set up for a tree pose now. So coming back into that place where your weight is in your left foot, we'll turn the right toes out, bringing that right heel above the left ankle, pulling in through the belly button here and imagining sinking that right hip down. And then when you're ready, bringing that right foot up the calf, staying under the knee, or perhaps bringing it up to the inner thigh. And if you don't have that in your practice, just being okay with where you are today. And maybe allowing your arms to come up overhead, maybe keeping your hands at heart center. And then when you're ready, bringing that right leg back around in front, allowing the hips to come into alignment, and then slowly releasing down to the mat. And now we'll bring the weight into the right foot, turning the left toes out. And then just find your tree on this side. I'm going to be silent for a few minutes. So just feel your way into this tree. And then when you're ready, find your way out of your tree. And bring that left foot down. Shake the legs out. And if you're not already at the top of your mat, you can come back to the top of your mat. And we'll bring those blocks with us if you have them here. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, really reaching up tall through those fingertips, grounding down through the heels, bringing that little bend into the knees. Exhale, forward fold. And then stepping the left foot back, we're going to drop this the left knee to the mat, taking the top of the left foot to the mat also, shining that heart forward. And then exhaling as we pull the blocks back with us, coming back into our half splits. Inhaling as we roll forward. And then if you like, you can choose to come back into those half splits. Or if you like to take this into a slightly wider variation, you can begin to walk that back knee back slightly. We'll shift the hips back, supporting ourselves with the blocks or fingertips, and perhaps extending that left heel forward, only if this is part of your practice. So this position is a great position to use to practice being okay with where you are. Perhaps you're in the same modified pose you were before. Perhaps you've chosen something different. Anything is fine here. And now rounding the back slightly, pressing into the hands or blocks, We'll bring that left heel back in front. Walk that right knee forward if you had chosen to walk it back. And then coming back up on the toes on the left side, we'll allow that left foot to come next to the right. And just release back down into this forward fold. Nice big deep breath here. And then we'll take a big step back with the right foot, dropping the right knee to the mat this time. And exhaling as we shift the hips back, pulling the left toes back towards the face. Rolling forward on that left foot. And if you'd like to take the same variation on this side that you did on the other, you can walk that right knee back and allow that left heel to move forward. I myself am experiencing some tendonitis in my left Achilles, so I'm just going to choose to shift my hips back, coming back into my same modified half splits on this side. Nice deep breath here. And then rolling forward through that foot or pressing into the blocks to pull that left heel back. We'll come back up onto the toe. And then inhale the right foot back to meet the left. And exhale, forward fold. And then from here, inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to heart center. And just taking a moment to experience how the legs feel, how the hamstrings feel. Great, done an awesome job today. Let's inhale our arms up overhead and exhale as we come into our last forward fold. You can bring the hands to the blocks or not. And then we'll plant both hands, coming back into your plank or half plank and coming through one last vinyasa or shifting back to downward facing dog, whatever suits you today. Make this vinyasa your own. Coming through any movements that feel good for you here. And then finally meeting in downward facing dog when you're ready. And once you've found your way to downward dog, 3 nice deep breaths here. Breathing in acceptance. Breathing out judgment. Breathing in forgiveness. Breathing out criticism. Breathing in love for yourself. And exhaling that love out to anyone else who needs it. And now we'll allow the knees to come down to the mat. We'll shift over and come into a seated position. Bring the soles of your feet together, coming into your cobbler's pose or butterfly. And remembering, if you like to use blocks, you can bring those underneath your knees here, particularly if this pose is difficult for your body. And so bringing your fingers around your toes or underneath your feet or around your ankles. Just coming into this cobbler's pose. And now allowing the knees to close here, maybe using your hands to help move your knees up, We'll shift those blocks out of the way and we'll come down around and come down to the back. So coming down to your back now, you might bring your knees into your chest, rolling out slightly through that lower back. And then bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. We'll allow the hands to come down next to the hips, and we'll bring those heels as close to the tail as we can. And then pressing into the palms of the hands here, we'll pull the knees in towards each other as we inhale the hips up, maybe shifting the chin slightly up towards the ceiling and the chest towards the chin, coming into our bridge pose. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then as you're exhaling, rolling down slowly, one vertebra at a time, until finally that lower back finds the floor. Taking a moment here to let it all relax. And then once again, pressing those palms into the floor, pulling the knees in close to each other, and inhaling, hips come up. Choosing to stay here if you like, or maybe walking those shoulders up underneath the back, interlacing the fingers, shooting those hips up just a little higher here. Three deep breaths. And then letting those fingers come apart if you have them interlaced, walking the shoulders out from underneath the back and exhaling down one vertebra at a time. And then bringing the knees back into the chest. That feels nice. Rolling out through the lower back. And now allowing the knees to separate. You can reach through and grab the toes or the outsides of the feet. Tucking the chin slightly here. Letting the neck and shoulders be relaxed. And even your happy baby. Maybe your happy baby includes you holding on to your shins rather than your toes. So finding whatever modification here works best for you. Maybe you're ready to reach through, grasping the outsides of the feet. Anything is fine. There's no expression of this pose that's better or less than others. Only the expression that's yours. And now letting this come to stillness. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. We'll use the hands to help yourself lengthen your legs out to the corners of your mat. Bringing the shoulders up underneath the back. And then taking a big, deep breath, letting it out with a sigh. Feel how your body naturally relaxes as you exhale here. And then begin bringing yourself back into your body, much in the same way that we did at the beginning of class. Allow yourself to explore the sensation of what it feels like to be inside your toes. Stretching out your awareness to each toe, one at a time. Allowing your awareness to move naturally into your feet and ankles. Exploring the curve of your calf and your knee. Allowing your awareness to fill your upper leg, your pelvis, your belly. Allowing it to rise into your chest. Becoming aware of your heartbeat and your blood flowing through your body. Feeling into each finger of both hands. Into your palms and wrists. Working your way up your arms and into your neck. Letting those neck muscles know it's okay for them to relax. Allowing your facial muscles to relax completely. No one's looking. No expression you need to make. And then just rest here in awareness of your entire body. Allow yourself to take a deep breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And then when you're ready, roll to one side, cradling your head on your arm for a moment. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back up to a seated position, keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. It's a blessing to show up and have you come with me every time. May your yoga follow you off the mat.